Hey everyone, this is going to be a Regents overview Cliff Notes guide that I'm going to run here, and this is going to be probably a couple of videos in a row, so feel free to stick around to the next one. This will be a great video for you to just have a gigantic overview of a study guide for the Regents. So basically I made this survival guide, and I'm going to break down the Regents in basically probably like 7 videos here. The first video right now today is going to be based on how the test is structured. The second, third, and fourth and following videos are going to be literally me going through cliff notes of every single topic for the whole year, as you could see here. So this is going to be pretty great study guide. And I recommend, as I go through, to have a little piece of paper out in front of you and write down any topics that I say something and you're like, ooh, I didn't know that. And that way you can go in and study that exact topic. Okay, so without further ado, this part, like I said, is going to be how the test is built. So I'm just going to read through this for you. The Earth and Space Science Regents is not just a vocab test. It's mostly a test of how well you can read scientific information, interpret diagrams, and use the Earth and Space Science reference tables, and choose the answer that's best supported by the evidence. Most questions are connected to a short passage, graph, map, model, or data table, or diagram. Your job is to slow down and figure out what the question is actually asking and use the evidence in front of you. You do not need to know every detail from the whole year. You need to recognize patterns, use the reference table, and explain Earth and space science ideas clearly. So here's how the test is built. Basically, it's clusters of questions. Your best bet is to just do practice Regents exams. At this point in me recording the video, there have been 3 of them that have came out, but you know, if you're watching this later on, just go back to New York State practice Regents and do them. I have a video on me going through every single Regent, so you can go there and see me solve all the questions. So each cluster focuses on real-world science situations. So you may get a passage, a graph, a map, data table with multiple choice questions, or a constructed response question. Many answers come from combining the information in the question, the visuals, and the reference table, and obviously your science knowledge from the class. Here's something important. Do not skip the introduction to the cluster. The passage often gives you exact context needed to answer the question. So don't skip that little intro or the direction. Sometimes there's something in there that you need. In terms of pacing, you're going to have 3 hours for about 50 questions, which is about 3.5 minutes per question, but some are going to take much less time and much more time. So here's some pacing tips. Do the easier multiple choice questions first. Don't get stuck on a question for too long. If a question is confusing, circle it and come back. Save time for constructed response questions and try to save a little bit of time at the end to check over your skip questions or just check over any of them that you might have starred. And don't leave a question blank. There's no penalty for guessing. A blank answer has no chance of earning credit, so you might as well write something. All right, in terms of reading your cluster, before answering the question, quickly ask yourself a couple of these questions. What's this cluster about? What Earth system or space system is involved? What evidence is provided? Is there a graph or table that I need to use, or do I need the reference table? So most clusters are not asking you about a memorizable fact. They're asking you to use some type of evidence, okay? So there's going to be tons of visuals, graphs, maps, models. We talked about that. And you should definitely always look at this stuff. So if there's graphs, look at the title, the labels, the unit, the axes, the key, the legend, the arrows, the scales, the time period. Anything like that that has to do with the graph can help you on a question. A lot of wrong answers come from reading a graph or diagram way too quickly. So take the extra 30 seconds to really dissect the diagram that they give you. In terms of the ESSRT, so this is going to be a good tool. I would definitely know what page is kind of tell you about which thing. I have a whole video on going over every chart on the whole reference table, so you could definitely go check that out. Before using the reference table, just ask yourself what topic is the question about, which page matches that topic, what units are being used, am I reading the correct row, things like that. Don't open the reference table randomly. You should be able to just be like, oh, this question's on plate tectonics. I should know exactly where that is. That's kind of the mindset you need. All right, in terms of multiple choice, you want to kind of look for the best supported answers. Some of the questions might have answers that kind of look similar. So you want to match the evidence, use correct reasoning, connect cause and effect, and make sure something agrees with the graph, model, passage, or the reference table. Here's some tips. Wrong answers often use true science that does not actually answer the question. It can ignore the evidence on the graph. It can misread the graph. You can use the wrong Earth system or sound very scientific but not supported by anything in the reading. Be careful with extreme words. So if it says like always, never, only, or completely, like those are kind of like red flags of it probably not being right. Science usually deals with patterns, trends, and evidence. All right, looking for claim evidence and reasoning. Many questions are really asking you to think, What's the answer or conclusion? What information from the graph supports it? And how does the evidence explain the scientific idea? So this shows up in both the multiple choice and the constructive response questions very often. So if you've never even heard of claim evidence and reason, I would definitely look that up. Constructive response tips. So these do not need to be long. They need to be specific, and a strong constructive response should answer the question directly, use scientific vocabulary, include evidence, and explain the connection clearly. So if the question asks you to identify and explain, make sure you do both things. Like, here's an example. A weak answer you could write is, the climate changed. Not good enough. Strong answer. The climate warmed because the graph shows ice mass decreasing, which exposes darker land and causes more solar energy to be absorbed. That's really good identification and explanation. If you have a chance to use data, use it. When a question gives numbers, try to use the numbers. Quantitative evidence, maybe throw a temperature change in there, throw the distance, the year something happened, something like that. If the question asks for evidence, numbers really make your answer a lot stronger. It's an easy piece of evidence to include, honestly. And then watch out for some Earth systems connection. Make sure you know the Earth systems, the geosphere, the hydrosphere, the atmosphere, the biosphere, and the cryosphere. You should definitely know what those are. The definitions are right there. And try to use those if you can in the answer. So when you see a question about Earth systems, think what changed first and what changed because of it. It's kind of like feedbacks. All right, some common mistakes that I have found. Skipping the passage, ignoring the diagram, forgetting to use the reference table, reading the wrong graph axis, missing units, choosing an answer that sounds scientific but not supported by anything, only answering one part of the constructive response question, writing vague answers with no evidence, and leaving questions completely blank. Something my students have problems with is they kind of restate the question instead of actually answering it. So just be careful. Make sure you're actually coming up with a unique answer. Don't just restate what has already been said in the question. Then you're not going to get credit for that. Final survival rule here. The Regents reward students who slow down, use evidence, and recognize patterns. When in doubt, ask yourself, what does the passage graph diagram or model actually show? Okay, so that's my breakdown of the test. In the next video, which is right after this video, I am going to go through each of the most important facts for every topic for the first unit, space systems, and we'll do all the units after that. All right, if you have any questions, leave your questions in the comment, and good luck.